It really depends on what your specialty is lah. I don't know, maybe if you have like super big boobs, then you can take off clothes.
Attention, plein feu. C'est moi sous la lumière.
Instagrammers, famous, beautiful, influential. But what does it take to succeed? And how much of what we see on Instagram is fake?
This is someone that we highly suspect have fake followers, but it's very, very difficult to tell.
From fake followers to doctored pics, we're going to find out just how real this industry is for ourselves. How? Well, by turning into an Instagrammer myself.
The best part definitely is all the products or the free product they receive.
First dibs on new products.
For influencers, every photo on Instagram could be a source of income or sponsored products. Part-time model Aula Azizan has a relatively small following, but she has been able to start charging brands for posts that promote their products.
It's a range between like 50 to 100. For IG story will be lesser, like 60 and below.
For those with over 100,000 followers, a single photo can yield $1,000 to $2,000. In fact, their earnings have attracted the attention of the taxman. Since 2016, influencers have been asked to declare any benefits, including one-off gifts or services, valued at over $100. Suffice to say, Singapore's influencers are, well, pretty influential. Half of Singaporean respondents in a recent survey said they bought an item because it was endorsed by an influencer. Accordingly, advertising dollars are following suit. Companies in Singapore are projected to spend about $280 million on social media advertising in 2021. This is expected to nearly double to about $401 million by 2025.
For celebrities, they are good for awareness campaigns. The micro and the nano influencers, they have a pool of highly engaged followers that are more accessible, personable, as well as relatable. They are more impactful in terms of engaging their audience versus a traditional celebrity who might only endorse the product in a production or TV show, by just holding a shoe or just like doing what they need to do on the production set.
In the US, influencers are recognized as artists in their own right. They are joining Hollywood A-listers like Adam Driver and Jennifer Aniston in the Screen Actors Guild, which allows them to work in film, TV, and radio. In February 2021, Vogue China appointed Margaret Zhang, who has 1.3 million followers on Instagram, as their editor-in-chief. Their prominence has invited some snarky comments. After all, what have influencers done to deserve such fame and power?
What do you do to gain this, to earn this?
It will be my artistic eye for things, my ability to be able to style sets, and also fashionable, and having good skin helps as well, yeah.
So our plan is to start a new account, not associated with ST, not telling anybody that I'm a journalist, so that we cannot use that name as a leverage. And then we're going to try and get 5,000 followers. 5,000 is the minimum considered to become a micro-influencer, which is when you get paid collaborations and sponsorships. So we're going to try and do that in 30 days.
1 month! Okay, that's a bit of a stretch.
And according to what those in the trade tell us, the key to Instagram fame is to be authentic.
Being true to yourself and really believing in what you're putting out in terms of the values that you live. Be very engaging with your audience, being responsive, and just being another friend to them.
I feel like it should be about the love for sharing. So it's important also to be as organic as possible, not to be too like sponsored.
At the same time, it has to be done with an eye to what advertisers want.
So I have themes that appeal to women, I have themes that maybe appeal to guys. The more skin you show, the more male engagement you get, because like that's just humans. If you want to make yourself more marketable, want to be able to work with more brands, I think it's very important to be a little bit more conservative.
The Advertising Standards Authority of Singapore guidelines state that influencers are to clearly indicate when posts are sponsored or paid for. However, it does not spell out exactly how this should be done. Britain and the United States have stricter rules, saying that such disclosures must be made upfront in a post. From what we've learned, I think what best suits me is to be a lifestyle influencer, posting photos of myself going out on town, showing off my makeup, my outfits and stuff. But I'm not exactly the photo taking type, so I'm gonna need some lessons.
Now I'm going to teach you a few poses for this Instagram perfect shot. So firstly, you're going to elongate your legs. So I'm always tilting my leg at an angle. And then your right leg, you're going to elongate too, but don't exceed your left leg. To make it more relaxed, just lean back, put your right hand down, lean back. And then yoga pose, right? And then this hand, perhaps put it at the side of your left leg. Yeah, and just look very relaxed. Or you can bend a little, put this over your other knee and do a fake laughter, Another pose we could do, perhaps we can cross our legs. And then you can put your elbow on your knee, and then this is more of a casual one.
Okay.
Yeah, another. So which one do you like the best?
I mean, like both are not natural to who I am. Can you take my legs along? That looks fake.
Out of all the pictures, only this is usable.
I believe I just changed at the Marina Barrage.
Really?
So, how long has it been here?
I'm not sure, man. I think at least 40 minutes.
All that posing and posturing for the most beautiful Instagram feed I can conjure up is making me wonder, how authentic can I be as an Instagram influencer?
Complain a lot about how Instagram is very inauthentic. When you post something that's ugly, for example, like, I was so ashamed of myself that day for thinking, right, I wanted to post a picture of my grandma. But then she was like in some ugly outfit, right? Of course, a grandma outfit lah, huh? Then I was thinking, wow, like that don't match the feed, And then I was like, oh my god, why am I thinking like that? That's so horrible, that's so not nice. In the end, I still did it lah. But for that fleeting moment, I had that one thought, like, it might ruin my feed. And I wonder how many of these influencers who have all these beautiful feeds, right? How many of them feel that it really represents their life?
So when I'm feeling down, I'll try my best not to post so much. I always want to be seen as being happy. And I guess many of my followers do feedback, that seeing my stories, seeing my posts, it brightens up their day. So in this way, I don't fake anything. I don't try to fake being happy. I just avoid posting it. Yeah.
Different people have different uses for Instagram platform. Well, mine is just to share positive pictures and stories.
But for some, the line blurs between curating their feed and faking a life they don't lead. In September 2020, some US influencers were exposed for renting photo studios designed to look like private jets for their Instagram posts. A service in China allows people to flaunt cars or stacks of cash online with nothing more than a recorded voice clip and 6 yuan. Back home, influencers have used tactics such as renting luxury bags to glam up their photos or jumping into first-class airline seats to pass off as their own. One even got in trouble for passing off Photoshop stock images as his own work. More than lifestyles, technology has also provided a way for people to give themselves a prettier face.
So with all these filters, right, you can add a lot of stuff. Like for example, just now you said you want to have a longer chin, right? So click on the chin, and then we can make it either longer or shorter. And then we can add stuff like makeup, so now you have eyeshadow. More.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
It looks so real. Oh my god, it moves with your eyes.
Yeah.
What is this technology?
I know, and then it's but you cannot cover your face because then it will be gone, you see?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So sometimes when you see influencers do videos, they accidentally cover a bit of their face and then it just shifts away, the filter shifts away. Then you can see their face suddenly become way fatter, stuff like that. Yeah, it happens to me too.
Such filters are banned in Britain when promoting skincare or cosmetics, and 2 influencers had their posts taken down. The Advertising Standards Authority ruled that their filters were misleading and exaggerated the effects of the product. There are no such regulations in Singapore. Today is day 17 of our 30-day Instagram journey, and I am super far away from the 5,000 follower target we've set for ourselves. It's clearly looking a little bit impossible. We've heard that some people on Instagram do buy followers, so we're going to try that today and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I just got out of a meeting and it's been like 45 minutes since I bought my followers, and I already have 1, 2, 7. That's a lot. You know, it was at like 75. It's almost like double. So it's just like all these accounts that honestly they do not look real, but I did get my followers. Not yet 5,000. Bots or not, my follower count has gone up, which means being able to charge more per post.
For influencers with a follower count between 1,000 and 10,000 followers, they usually charge somewhere between $200 for a post. And someone with a follower count between 10,000 and 50,000 followers, they will probably charge from $500.
But this is problematic.
So as an agency, we have certain tools to help us. So for example, you have like a tool like Affable, which is where you can search for different influencers. So this is someone that we highly suspect have fake followers. For this particular influencer, we engaged her twice. First time her stats were very high, so they seemed like it was a good investment, so we got her again. But after that, comparing both kind of like statistics after post-campaign, we realized that they were way off the charts and like something was really suspicious. And when we looked into the stats, we realized that, you know, it seems like a huge proportion of our audience were not local followers or not even following her, you know, so we don't know where she gets her audience from. So I think because of that, you know, just to err on the side of caution, we will not be engaging her anymore.
This is not uncommon. Ruto estimates that 1 in 20 top influencers buy fake followers. We decided to conduct our own investigation into the Instagrammers featured in this documentary.
But in the case already of gender and location, there's already some challenges here. One is that if you are advertising female products, then you should have a majority of a female audience. So you might look at an influencer that is female, promotes female products, but if the majority of your audience is male, unless you're talking to the males to buy this stuff for their girlfriends or their moms or their sisters, then it just doesn't make sense. 2, if you're advertising in a specific location, that you should have a strong following in that location. And in this case, for example, if we're talking about Singapore, is merely a quarter of their entire follower base. So this one is, I guess, one of the strongest one in Singapore. She is on target. Her majority of followers seem to be female. It's still strong in Singapore. So her focus used to be more about lifestyle, beauty, and fashion. Now we see, you know, parenting growing that segment as well. She has been having a drop over the years. This could be because, you know, there is a change in her content. So older legacy followers might not consider that content interesting anymore. And this is somebody that focuses and claims to focus mostly on Singapore and Malaysia, yet a huge number of their followings comes from Thailand. So if I want to promote in the peninsula, if I want to promote in Malaysia and in Singapore, I might not be hitting the right target audience with this. That's one of the main reasons why a lot of brands say like, oh, they must have fake followers, because you have a huge number of likes and comments and then no conversion. Based on what we can see from these influencers, you can tell that none of these influencers have, you know, engaged in buying fake followers.
As it turns out, faking one's follower count is bad for business.
This is become a ghost follower. So these people do not engage with your account. So eventually the algorithm will kind of push all this away, and then your engagement is going to drop very, very badly.
In the US, the Federal Trade Commission declared that selling fake followers is illegal. It slapped a US $2.5 million fine on a company that sold fake Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn followers to clients including law firms, musicians, and banks. In Singapore, buying followers is considered fraudulent as well.
When they buy sort of fake likes and engagement, it is for their business to attract more advertisers. When you defraud advertisers, what you essentially do is to lie to advertisers to get commercial gain. That's bad news, right? You're faking it till you make it, but you're also lying to cheat so that you can actually get a contract. That doesn't work.
ASAS is the first agency that investigates when such cases are reported. Repeat offenders are then escalated to Singapore's competition regulator, where they could face sanctions or even public blacklisting. The agency declined to reveal the number of cases investigated each year. Instagram says it is trying to develop technology to remove such activity on its platform. It is day 30. I have fake smiled my way through this, slept on filters, and spent about $70 buying fake followers, comments, and likes. I now have about 5,200 followers, which means that I'm officially a micro-influencer. But advertisers aren't exactly sliding into my DMs all that much.
So if I go down and when I see Turkey, number one as a country, then Russia and Brazil close behind in third and fourth place, that's already completely unusual for a nano influencer and raises questions. I see very low engagement compared to similar influencers and an extremely high level of suspicious followers. For brand impact purposes, you have no chance.
So now I know I won't be quitting journalism anytime soon to become an influencer. First, it's not as easy as it looks. So now it's just like cramping.
Where's Jen's head? Can't see.
Lean, no leaning. Leaning, no leaning. Which one?
Buying followers was simple enough, but it was really hard to craft an appealing, authentic persona such that brands would be keen to have me promote their products.
Hey guys, is it a nice pose? Does it elongate my neck? I don't know how to make myself look tall.
Second, it takes money. As a wannabe lifestyle influencer, I ate out at pretty cafes, made myself up, and showed off pretty fashionable outfits. It was just not sustainable. And there is one more thing, dealing with the love-hate relationship that people have with influencers. People ask, what do they do to earn their fame, freebies, and money? My take is this. If you check Instagram when you wake up, when in the toilet, at work, before sleep, then it's a no-brainer that companies will reward influencers richly for their power to affect your spending habits. And that is how influencers have influence.
A lifestyle though. I've never picked a lifestyle, pretend to be on business class when I'm economy. I just go to my friend's seat and take a photo, that kind of thing. Because I feel that it is very disgusting when people around you, they know that you're faking it on your online platforms, and these people who are around you, who are close to you, that's what's important to me, right? And I don't want them to feel like, why is she being so fake and disgusting?